Bengaluru, India. It's a bustling city of millions located in the southern part of the Indian subcontinent. It's called the Silicon Valley of India, named for the international tech companies that have established their headquarters here. But right now, parts of Bengaluru are underwater in deadly floods, and it's a situation it's had to endure before. The city has grown quickly, according to the AFP news agency. Its infrastructure apparently hasn't kept pace with its population boom. Some of its waterways have been used as dumps. Others have reportedly been built on without sufficient planning. This has led to finger-pointing and blame whenever torrential rains flood the city. Some residents say the local government hasn't done enough to address the problem, that it should have worked on clearing clogged drains and constructing new systems. Government officials say this has been an ongoing issue for years and that they're taking action to address Bengaluru's second highest rainfall in a decade. Wherever people stand, it's a dangerous growing pain for the tech capital of India. Next today on The World from A to Z, what a historic American newspaper calls a learning moment for all journalism organizations, but could apply well beyond them. I'm Carl Azus. Thank you for watching this Thursday. Last weekend, information published in a number of newspapers across the U.S. recommended 15 books for summer reading. The list was put together with the help of artificial intelligence, and it contained titles like Tidewater Dreams by Isabel Allende and The Rainmakers by Percival Everett. The problem? Those books don't exist. 10 of the 15 recommendations were totally made up by a computer, and some of the quotes about them might have been fake too. The freelance journalist who assembled the list told the Washington Post he used AI chatbots and didn't double-check his work. He said there was no excuse for that, admitted he was responsible, and he apologized for the misstep, as did the Chicago Sun-Times and the Philadelphia Inquirer, two of the papers that featured the reading list. They said it was unacceptable it appeared in their publications. This is happening at a time when many media organizations, as well as others in various fields, are wrestling with how much to incorporate AI and how much to trust it. Just like there's human error, there's machine error as well. And observers say it underscores the importance that people think critically about the information they're consuming.
Word it out. Which of these airports opened first? Dallas-Fort Worth International, Newark Liberty International, LaGuardia Airport, Chicago O'Hare International. Operating since 1928, which makes it the oldest airport on this list, is New Jersey's Newark Liberty International.
The FAA is reducing the number of flights at Newark Liberty International Airport by about 25%. Its new order limits them to 28 arrivals and 28 departures per hour for now. Those numbers are set to rise to 34 when some daily runway construction ends. The changes come as many Americans are preparing for Memorial Day weekend and the unofficial start of summer. But holiday travel isn't the reason for the new limits. They follow weeks of flight delays and multiple air traffic control outages.
The system as a whole is extremely fragile. It's aged to the point now we're starting to see widespread failures.
Experts say aging equipment is part of the problem at Newark and other airports across the country.
Most Americans today walk around with more computing power in their pocket than air traffic controllers have at the ready.
Air traffic controllers say staffing shortages are another concern. One who's on trauma leave from Newark says his team was stretched thin during last month's outage.
Pushing people beyond their limits is not good business, period.
Such revelations might make some passengers nervous, but experts say they shouldn't be.
If you break it down, flying versus taking a train, taking a boat, driving your car down the street, statistically, it's the safest mode of transportation.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Airports in Colorado, Georgia, and Texas have also had issues with air traffic control systems. The U.S. government says it's planning to replace old equipment with more updated technology, but Congress has to approve the money for that. It's estimated to cost tens of billions, and it'll still take a few years for the new equipment to be installed. Most air traffic controllers are government employees. The Federal Aviation Administration says there are more than 14,000 of them. Around 3,000 more are needed, and while the FAA does have several thousand in training, that also takes time. On this date in world history, the Oregon Trail isn't just a game that taught kids about dysentery. It's an actual cross-country route taken by early American settlers to migrate west. And it was on this date in 1843 that around 1,000 of them set out from Missouri to the Pacific Northwest on the first major wagon train of the Oregon Trail. To date, only one U.S. president has ever been granted a patent. Years before he was the nation's leader, Abraham Lincoln conceived of a device to lift boats that had gotten stuck, and his patent was issued on May 22nd, 1849. The device was never actually built, but Lincoln did go on to do, other stuff. Speaking of patents, these dudes named the Wright brothers got one on this date in 1906 for something they'd invented, a flying machine. They'd actually applied for the patent in the year of their first powered flight in 1903, but they were rejected. A patent lawyer helped them actually get it 3 years later. And May 22nd, 2011 was when a massive tornado struck Joplin, Missouri. 161 lives were lost in the EF5 disaster. It also caused $2.8 billion in damage, making it the costliest tornado in American history.
Where in the world? This is a European nation that borders the Mediterranean Sea. It has its own Riviera, but it's not part of France. It became a nation-state, including Sardinia and Sicily, in 1861. This is Italy, the boot-shaped peninsula of southern Europe.
The theme of this exhibit in London is 1504. The beautiful works of art being featured were all made around that year. But who doesn't love art with a little drama? This exhibit also highlights a conflict between two of the most talented artists of that era, Michelangelo and Da Vinci. Though he spent a majority of his life in Rome, Michelangelo grew up in Florence and spent much of his early career in that city. Leonardo da Vinci lived in Florence at the same time. He was a full 2 decades older and had been active as an artist there for years. Both were well known and appreciated for their art in their lifetimes. And in 1504, the government in Florence asked both artists to paint battle scenes on a wall in the Palazzo Vecchio, essentially the town hall. Neither of the men even finished their initial sketch for the project due to issues from their artistic style differences. Da Vinci focused on the scientific aspects of nature, while Michelangelo idealized the human body.
And then for a few years, they go head to head. The two titans of the Italian Renaissance. And they're very jealous of each other. They don't particularly like each other. They are very different in personality and character, I think, in approach.
Da Vinci and Michelangelo ended up creating some of their most famous works during this time of feuding.
Those are the years when Michelangelo makes his David, Leonardo starts painting the Mona Lisa. So it's a very exciting moment of what we now think of as the beginnings of the High Renaissance.
It's not known exactly why people from Indiana have been called Hoosiers since the 1800s, but we are happy to call on Mr. Mingland's class from Indiana's Lincoln Middle School. It's in Indianapolis. Mrs. Halverson's class is also with us. From Suffolk, Virginia, we welcome the Hawks of Colonel Fred Cherry Middle School. In the Keystone State, you'll find Bellwood Antis High School. Thank you for joining us from Bellwood, Pennsylvania. And Crane Junior High is last but not least. Mr. Klein's class in Crane, Missouri is Pike Radical. There are many ways to cook an egg, but is there a good way to drop it? It's long been thought that eggs are strongest at either end, the narrow one or the wide one. But researchers at MIT recently conducted a series of egg drop tests and published their findings in the journal Communications Physics. They observed that eggs that landed horizontally didn't crack as often as ones that landed on the ends. So it's possible that eggs' longer sides are better able to absorb energy. Must have been our secret when my boy Eric and I won the egg toss at 4th grade field day. Oh, Yoko, you won! But for two hard-boiled eggheads who'd come out of our shell to get albumin into the sport, we didn't have a half-baked approach and scrambling the minds of our opponents by cooking up victory on a Friday and winning the crowd over easy. There were no cracks in our technique. I'm Carl Azers, and that's the world from egg to Z.